second day of area between curves, part 2. So we're going to look at something that involves 3 curves, and then we're going to actually move to integrating along the y-axis a little bit. Okay. But here, so what you're saying is that we should do 8x minus x to find this.
Yes.
I agree. What are your integral limits? 0. We know that. That's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where do these two intersect?
It looks like 1.
Yes, solve for x, don't you?
There's no scale. How can it look like 1?
I don't know.
How do you find the point of intersection of 2 graphs?
Yes.
Set them equal to each other.
Of course. Of course.
Multiply by x squared. Divide by 8. X is... Oh my goodness, you're right. You eyeballed it. Okay. You're halfway there.
Okay, now.
Now think through the other part of that region. How would you do that?
No.
So we're still trying to find the right.
Yeah.
Would you take, no, would we take what we found with the 8x minus x and then subtract it by 8 minus x squared?
Ignore what you just did. If I had a picture and it just had that on it,
Oh!
what would you do?
So you would do the same thing you did, but you'd start with 1, right?
Right.
At limit 1.
1 to something, and then we have the top minus the bottom still, right?
Yeah.
Don't, okay, did we make it more complicated than it needed to be?
Of course.
Yeah, good, I'm sensing a theme here.
Do you always just subtract x?
Well, x is the bottom function.
Oh,
Top minus bottom.
oh,
So
got
the
it.
blue's the top minus the green bottom.
Yeah.
Red's top minus green bottom. What is this point of intersection? It looks like 2. Can you prove that algebraically?
You set them equal to each other?
X equals what? Okay. What's the next step? So x is. Hey!
Hey!
Being a good guesser works once in a while.
We can guess our way through this.
There you go.
That's not as bad.
A lot of these problems you end up you break them into the parts that you know. Don't overcomplicate. I can't say that every day, right?
Yeah.
Try to make these problems easy. You're at the point where your brains are starting to transition into a structured mode of thinking. Try to step back a little bit. We adults make things harder than they need to be a lot. Let's just be honest, our brains are very fixed. Try your hardest to keep calculus as simple as possible. Okay. Top minus bottom for area between curves. Employ that thinking. Top minus bottom. Okay. And if you have to split it, it's okay to do 2 different integrals. Okay. We don't need to finish this, do we?
You solve that, right?
What would I do with this to make it easier?
Combine by turn.
Yeah. Can I simplify that one? I cannot, so there you go. All right. So again, I can't teach you everything. There ever is to know about calculus, area between curves, so be a thinker. Okay. Use the general idea and try to apply it. Okay. Okay. Have you ever integrated along the y-axis?
Not that I know of.
Not that I can recall.
Okay. So if I have a graph of something like
Did I say equals?
say equals, no, it's the symbol for equals. And it's an inanimate object, you can't talk. Okay, so does this confuse you?
No.
Okay, how would you do that problem?
It's just the same as it was.
You said the integral.
It's the same as an x.
It's 0 to 2.
Yeah. Right?
Yep.
Big deal. Okay. If you're gonna type that in your calculator, just put an X in there and you're good to go. It doesn't matter, it's just a variable. Okay. Now if you wanna picture this, what would this look like if I had x squared minus 1? The parabola down 1 unit, right? Okay. So what does the y squared minus 1 version look like? Which way is it? To the positive, it's go to the right, and we're still minus 1.
Oh.
That's what it looks like. They're partners, really. Okay, so given that information,
As much as that counts, that's a lot. That's a good way to put it. Actually, it's down.
Is that a negative value?
yeah. Okay, now you have two functions in terms of y.
You just do the same thing, figure out which one's on top, which one's on bottom.
Okay, in terms of y, x's,
Oh, this one would be which
you
one's,
can have a top, bottom, right?
yeah, this one would be
Left, right?
Is it left, right, or right, left?
right left.
Right,
Right left.
Why is it right, left? Again, with the x's, the top is the biggest, most positive, right? Minus bottom. In the y term, though, the biggest is over here. The smallest, the negative is here, so it's right minus left. Okay. Okay, so this is, in terms of y, you have to think in terms of right minus left. What information do we need? Okay, we need the integer limits, the points of intersection. So,
Well, there's a y squared.
Oops. Don't miss tide. How do we solve that polynomial? Algebra time. Maybe, but not yet. What do we have to do? Set equal to?
0.
Theme in this class, right?
Yep.
So 1/8 y to the 4th, so I'm gonna add that over. Subtract y squared, what do you get?
0.
Yay! Subtract 1.
Yeah. 2.
Add 2, multiply by 8. And what's the 4 through to 16? Positive or negative, in fact. Alright, so we know that we're here.
Oh. Now which one, how do you figure?
Which one's right, left?
Do you just do the same, plug it in and figure out?
Yeah, I would choose 0.
Okay.
What's f at 0?
-1.
Negative 1. G at 0 is
Oh.
1. We know this is the right, left.
Okay. So,
Okay, so we would have G at y minus f at y. Okay. These are pretty rare to actually just, okay, it comes up once in a while in practice or exams. So, this is one of those, I don't really worry about it that much, but for those of you that are 3, 4, 5 that can do it, you can see it. All of you can do it. I'm not saying that. For those of you that will worry about being able to do it, here it is.
So the G.
What?
Explain what you recap, like why, which one's the right, which one's the left.
This is what G looks like.
Okay.
This is what F looks like. Which one's on the right? G.
Oh, yeah.
It's higher on that.
Right minus left. Does that answer your question? Graphically?
Yeah.
Algebraically, I picked 0. G is 1. F is negative 1. Numerically. Okay?
Just to lose it.
That's what we would calculate. If you're curious about the answer, 32/5. Most likely that's going to be a calculator question just because of the length it would take you for handwritten work. It's doable by hand, but it's just a time issue. Okay, so again, I'd suggest you do it by hand on your homework, get that practice, but keep that calculator skills in mind. Okay.
Whichever's less.
They only take a short look here, so you guys are
All right. We will score this tomorrow.
Do tomorrow?
Yeah. Since I'm gonna be gone, we have to. Nice rest of your day.